everybody. My name is Grace. Next year is a big year for me. 2015, I turned 50 years old. Yep, the big 50. It's pretty exciting, 50. Whoa, 50. Wow. You know, sometimes I wonder where all the time has gone. The years have really zipped by quickly. In 2015, I turned 50. I'm sure my loving family will have a great big party for me. With this milestone coming up so fast, I can't help but think back on all that's happened in the past. When I was a little kid, life was exciting and new. My family didn't have a whole lot, but we made do with what we had. Maybe we griped and complained a bit, but I don't really remember that. I enjoyed growing older and getting wiser, maturing and dreaming of everything that might be. As I did get older, I relished the wonderful changes and challenges that life had in store for me. It wasn't always easy. There were rough times, don't get me wrong. But I've always felt that God had something special in store, guiding me along the way. So now 50 is staring me in the face. I will admit that I'm dealing with some of the challenges and things don't quite fit the way they used to, at home and in my wardrobe. Sometimes feel just a little bit cramped for space. And I'm at that age where my internal systems don't always go the way they should. Sometimes I'm burning up like a furnace is out of control inside of me, and then at other times I'm freezing. I know some of you know what that's like, don't you? And at times it feels like some parts are just plain wearing out. You know what my doctor loves to tell me? As we age, I tell you, I'm getting a little tired of hearing that one. And even though I'm getting older, I'm happy to have so many joys in my life. I mean, look at them. They keep me happy and bring me joy and remind me to stay young. They also remind me that I have to take care of myself and plan for the future too. Plan so that I'm in good shape for the years ahead. Plan so that my kids are loved and taken care of. Plan so that they will grow into happy and healthy and responsible adults. I want to be around to see that. I want to celebrate all of that with them. So it's time for action now. I've got that big 50 party next year. I want to make sure it's a great celebration and also a solid foundation for the future.
In 2015, Grace Lutheran Church turns 50. Next year, we celebrate our 50th anniversary as a congregation of disciples who serve Jesus Christ. We owe so much to Pastor Jerry Peterson and those dedicated believers who worked so hard to create and build this church. They didn't start with much. The fellowship hall was our original sanctuary. Many hands, countless hours of labor, and enormous amounts of love went into building up the church and the building in which it gathers. In these last 50 years, we've had our share of growing pains, but through it all, this church has kept its focus clearly on what the Apostle Paul calls the heavenly call of God in Jesus Christ. We see the very evident fruit of this godly labor all around us. Now, as we look back at the first 50 years, we also look to our present needs and the challenges of the future. Our building is getting older. Things are wearing out. Those stained ceiling tiles remind us of our leaking flat roofs. Our heating system is wearing out. Some days the heat blasts us out, and you may remember a recent worship service where you had to wear your coat in the worship center in order to stay warm. Best Heating is here so often that we're thinking of charging them rent. Our kitchen is outdated and not up to code. Many of our classrooms are small and in poor shape. Some of our restrooms are in need of updates. And our building is getting too small for our needs. The gathering area outside of the worship center is like a sardine can on Sunday mornings. It's small and crowded, hardly a warm and welcoming place for members or visitors who come here. There are several nights each week when just about every room in our church is being used by one group or another. We are crowded and we need more space. But that's not a bad problem to have.
You see, one great thing we have going for us at Grace are our kids. We have kids, lots and lots of kids. Our church is known as a place where families are welcome. Our worship services may be a bit noisy at times, but would you rather exchange the noise of children in worship for the silence their absence would bring? As we conduct our Growing Grace appeal, we all need to keep in mind the joy that children bring to our church and the importance that it is for us that Grace Lutheran is a place where parents with their children feel welcomed and invited. Much of what we're doing is to build for the next 50 years and beyond, to make sure that our church home is truly a place where families gather to dedicate their children to be raised as disciples of Jesus Christ. When a child is baptized, we, the people of Grace, pledge to help that child grow in faith. Our Growing Grace campaign will help us to keep that promise.
While we don't have any final architectural plans for our building program, we do want to accomplish a number of things. We want to increase the size of our gathering area so we have enough room when we do gather. We want this to be a warm and inviting place for people on Sunday mornings and throughout the week. We want to have classrooms for our Sunday school and confirmation classes so that they have places to meet that are conducive to learning and group building. Let's give our high school youth a room that is truly their own and doesn't double as a hallway or a serving line for church meals. Speaking of meals, we plan to modernize our church kitchen so that it serves our needs when we serve those meals. Several of our restrooms will be updated. We will replace our old heating and cooling equipment and the leaky roofs that drip so often when it rains. That is something that needs to be done. And in our plans, the Adult Literacy Center, an important ministry of our church, would have its own space and its own entrance. We even want to have a dedicated music room, something we have talked about here for years. All of this will take a great deal of money. We don't have a final fixed amount right now since we don't have any final plans drawn up, but it will be in the neighborhood of $1.75 to $2 million.
That's a lot of money, but we can do this. Now is the time for us all to be bold and grow in grace as a celebration of our 50 years at Grace Lutheran and also as a sign of our dedication to the next 50 years as a Church of Christ. Your sacrificial giving to grow in grace will help us prepare for this future. As you prepare to make your gift, remember this. Not all of us can make gifts that are equal in the amount of money that is given, but all of us can give gifts that are equal in personal and faith sacrifice.
Working together and led by generous hearts, we can all grow in grace.
Hey, we headed for the future. Give us some room. We're gonna build a new world. Say we headed for the future. Give us some time. We're gonna make it work right. Yeah, we're gonna build a new dream. We've got to make it stand tall.